We just removed 14 negative reviews from one of our Amazon listings completely legally and within Amazon's terms of service. Here's what most sellers don't know. Amazon has rules for customers leaving reviews, and you can use these rules to get unfair negative reviews taken down. I'm Leonard, and this is Brand Rescue Mission. Welcome back to Brand Rescue Mission. Today is a special episode because it is the first guest episode. As I've mentioned multiple times throughout the Brand Rescue Mission journey, I'm going to be bringing on the best people from all different walks of life in the e-commerce space, from product development to intellectual property attorneys to Amazon review removal specialists like we've got on today. Today, Danan Coleman from EcomTriage is here to help us to save the day as part of our mission to rescue beast gear. Danan, it's great to have you on.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks for having me here, man. I really appreciate it. And I'm quite excited to talk about what we're going to share with the viewers here this time. We've got some cool information for them.
Yeah, we certainly do. Tell us into it and the problem that you solve for people.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So what I do is I legitimately and per Amazon's terms of service remove negative product reviews that are in violation of Amazon's terms of service. So the way that I do that is I download all the negative reviews. I run it through an AI that's trained on Amazon's community guidelines and what is and is not. There's about 10 or 11 or 12 different policies from Amazon, all having to do with reviews. And so the GPT is trained on that. It looks for violations, and then we will individually catalog each one of those and do an individual case on any review that is in violation of the terms of service as to whether or not it's a legitimate or, well, legit review or just generally in violation. And I have a 5 to 10% success rate, removal rate. So for every 100 negative reviews, I can remove 5 to 10. And that may not sound like a lot to you, unless you think about the fact that you get a review that's about 1 to 2% on average if you don't have a really good review acquisition strategy. So me removing a single negative review, it can be as much as like 10 or even more positive reviews. So every negative review cancels out that many as well. So if you take into account that if you want to get 10 reviews, you have to get 1,000 sales. I can shorten up that, and by removing a single review.
And something you mentioned there was interesting, Dan, and you said reviews which are against Amazon's terms of service. So a lot of people watching this will be selling on Amazon. They'll know that they need within their selling, they need to comply with Amazon terms of service. Are you telling me now that customers, when they leave reviews, they need to abide by Amazon's terms of service as well?
Yeah. So, when you become an Amazon buyer, you sign your life away, just like anything that you do in life these days. And so there's something called the community guidelines. It's publicly available. You can go on Google and just search Amazon community guidelines. You'll find it. And then there's a section in there called what's not allowed. And under what's not allowed is basically the guidelines that I use to determine if a review is compliant or not. And not every review is glaringly and 100% non-compliant, and they said, hey, this nearly scorched the earth, it's such a bad product, but there are degrees of non-compliance, and Amazon will remove reviews if you know what I know.
That's remarkable. And when we first met, I was like, wow, this is incredible, because the number of reviews I've received over the years which have frustrated me because I felt like that's not okay. I felt like they weren't fair. They weren't playing by in the spirit of the rules as I saw them. And also, of course, as viewers of the Brand Rescue Mission know, all the fantastic review funnels that I had created before I sold the brand were broken down under the previous ownership. So we were still accumulating negative reviews, because everybody knows happy customers don't leave reviews unless you have a good review funnel, because happy customers are just getting on with their lives. But
Yeah.
angry customers do leave reviews because all of a sudden, the red mist comes down and they're a keyboard warrior and they're going to go leave a negative review. So over the years that I didn't own the brand, we were accumulating these negative reviews and not getting the good reviews. So
Yeah.
when I heard, holy cow, Danan might be able to get rid of some negative reviews for me, this could make a significant impact on my business, because I was thinking, well, hold on a second. If we can get rid of negative reviews, maybe that'll bump our star rating up a little bit. And if we can go from displaying 4 stars to 4.5 stars, then our click-through rate goes up and then our conversion rate goes up and suddenly we're making more money. Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah. And even I've had a few customers report to me that their PPC cost has gone down. So
Yeah, it would. Because you're going to sell for fewer clicks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
So
you can actually go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. You can actually spend even less than the suggested bid amount if your conversion rate is really good, and still get the placement, because your conversion rate's so high and Amazon knows those clicks are going to result in sales.
So what you do can have a real world impact, significant impact on these businesses. That's amazing. And so obviously you can't give away the specifics of what you do, but you basically said it there. You're identifying if this review is potentially in breach of the terms of service. You contact Amazon and you say, hey guys, this review isn't right. The community guidelines say this, but this review says this, and that's not in line with the community guidelines.
Yeah.
And please take it away. And sometimes they will, 5 or 10% of the time they will, you said. Can you give me some examples and give the audience some examples of what's not compliant and how you can ask Amazon to get rid of it?
So let me know if I can't do this, but would you like to see some real life examples from your brand?
From holy cow. Yeah. Show it.
Yeah. Okay. I know we talked about this, but I went ahead and I did it. And we've so far removed, I think, 14 negative reviews for your brand. It might be a little bit more, I'm not sure. But I've taken a few for you. Are you seeing my screen, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So I've taken a few, and I'll just indoctrinate everybody kind of how I keep track of this. When we bring on a client, we have to download all the reviews, because Amazon you all know, if you're listening to this, you know what it's like to deal with Amazon seller support. It's even worse on my side because there is no response. So we have to download the reviews and then every single day or a couple of days, go check to see if they've been removed. We don't get responses from Amazon that says, you're absolutely right. We're so sorry we let this one go. We've gone ahead and taken it down. No, just the review's gone one day. So we keep track of the title. We keep track of the body, the ASIN, the buyer name, the review date, and of course the star rating. So I've just taken a few from here. And so here's the title. The title's bad. And it says, set it up properly and the left bracket failed and broke. Tried to contact company, however, no email, no contact details, and website under maintenance. Avoid. 1 star. So this is an FBA product, and Amazon is responsible for customer support if it's shipped and sold by fulfillment by Amazon. So the violation on this is it's an FBA issue, which you cannot leave negative reviews for negative experiences for what Amazon is responsible for. Now, granted, the product, it may or may not have broken, right? But the review was not on the fact that the bracket failed, but the fact that they were upset they couldn't get a hold of the brand when it's Amazon's responsibility.
Interesting. And that's funny because that would have happened when I didn't, during the period of time that I didn't own the brand, and much to my disgust, the guys I sold it to shut down our D2C website. So we had all this product packaging and all these inserts driving people to a website that was just a blue screen of death. And that's why this person had this. And I explained to them, I said, listen, you can't shut down the website. It's going to have a disastrous impact. And here it is in real world terms in the form of a negative review, which has sat there for ages until you've come along and managed to get it removed.
Yeah.
Quite amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so here's another one. This, I won't read each one of these, but this one is basically product defamation, right? They said it was pathetic. They said that it's even cheaper than the cheapest product out there. but they did it in such a way where it's actually product defamation. So that's a 2-star that we got removed. This next one is another FBA issue, right? So the problem is that this guy's loved the product, ordered it 3 times, really good rope, loves it, lasts around 8 or 9 months. Obviously, this person uses it a lot. And the next time when I ordered one, they sent me toothpicks. Well, that ain't Ben's fault, right? That's not a B-Gear issue. That is an FBA issue. So that was a 1-star on the product because they got shipped the wrong product, right? So again, we got that one removed. This next one says, literally, the title is nothing. The body is nothing. That's the exact, if you're just listening to this, it literally says the word nothing. And so that's not even a product review. A lot of people don't think that it's possible to get these reviews removed where it's a negative review and it's like, what is this? It's not even a product review, or maybe it's a review on a product that's not even your product. It's actually possible. So, we have various different types of reviews. This one on line 13 here is false claim, or 14 is false claims. This last one is illegal activities, talks about being an assassin. Amazon doesn't want any of this connection to anything that could be construed as being promoting something illegal, And
that's interesting. So there's a lot of different angles you can take.
Yeah.
What do you think of the fact that customers are allowed to leave ratings without a review? Personally, I find it very frustrating because they might leave a negative rating, and if you ask them to write a review, they might write about their experience with customer service, or they were shipped the wrong product or whatever.
Yeah.
Which you could get removed, but in this case we can't because they haven't written anything. They've just left a rating and not a review.
Yeah,
what's your take
and we
on
have
it?
no record. Yeah. I think that, so here's an interesting thing. When it came to seller feedback, you were required to leave a review. Amazon just did away with that as well, like in the last couple of months. I think that if you're going to particularly leave a negative review, that there should be a reason why. A positive review is like, cool. Yeah, you brought it up earlier, Ben. In the world of marketing, and I've been out of it for some time now, but word on the street is that an angry person will tell 10 people that they're angry, but a happy person might tell 1, right?
Yeah.
And so I, as a consumer, am happy to give a 5-star review, but I'm not a keyboard commando, right? I don't want to go out there and roast somebody on a 1-star unless I think it's truly warranted, right? But on a 5-star, I don't want to go over everything. I'm just like, I loved this product. I loved it. That's all anyone needs to know. But if it's a 1-star, I think there needs to be context, So
otherwise it's not fair to the seller.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing is you have no idea who left that 1-star. It's likely and quite possibly not even a verified purchase. So not only is there no context.
And is it easier for you? Do you find, I don't know, maybe you don't have this data, but maybe you do, that your hit rate, your success rate, is it higher with unverified reviews?
Yeah. So Amazon, and the other thing is that Amazon puts less weight behind those. So especially if there's a violation there, but I'll be honest with you, I don't see a whole lot of unverified reviews. They're certainly there, but most of what we deal with are verified reviews. Those have the greatest weight anyhow against your positives.
Yeah. And so what you guys went and did, which was quite remarkable, was you went and submitted these cases to Amazon, and Amazon removed these reviews from our products. But you didn't have to do that from inside of our account.
Correct.
So that's really interesting because so many service providers in our industry, you need to give them permissions in your account or hook up to the API or whatever it might be. But you're actually able to go and independently report these reviews, and Amazon is taking them down.
Yeah, that's possible. Now, with that being said, we do provide you with an email to invite to Seller Central and Brand Registry but the only permission you give is the permission for us to file and manage cases. Because,
Gotcha.
obviously seller support and brand registry, that is a big part of our escalation path. However, we do not start there.
Interesting. Okay, that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And so who is your average client? Like who's coming to you? Is it everybody? Like people just starting out? Is it huge brands, or how does it work?
Yep. Yeah, it's actually everybody. Obviously, like as a company, if you're just starting out, I make no money on you as a brand, but I'm less interested in profiting on every person. Obviously, like we have to make money. The bills have to be paid, right? But,
Sure.
The thing is that I'd rather be there for the brand that's launching and be able to get a negative review removed that's about to kill their launch or has killed their launch than them have no recourse whatsoever. So it doesn't matter to me if you are a small brand. Come on, I'm still there to help you. If you're a big brand, and I've got some extraordinarily large brands that some of them have tens of thousands of negative reviews. That's just a machine. They want me to maintain a 4.3 or above rating for them, and we just crank through reviews. But a small brand, what's that?
I just said that's wild.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah. But a small brand, that one review can be the difference between life and death of the product.
Yeah, it really can. It really can. If you've just launched and you drop from displaying 4.5 stars, so you go from a 4.3 to a 4.2, and it could get worse. You head down to a 4.1. That click-through rate tanks, your rank tanks, your conversion rate and add to cart rate and ultimately sales tank. PPC costs go up.
Because
before you know it, you're in a hole. And before you know it, you're in a hole and you can't get out.
Yep.
And then you're spending money. You're trying to, get, hey, listen, friends, I'm going to send you my product, or you buy it, I'll PayPal you the money. Can you leave me a great review? Of course, that's against terms of service. Exactly. So now you're starting to do things you shouldn't really be doing. And if you get caught, you're in a pickle.
Yeah.
So the tangible impact of what you can do is really quite significant. I'm going to be really interested to see, obviously it's just 15 reviews, but, like you said, that's the equivalent of sort of 150 positive reviews, essentially.
Correct. Yeah.
Which is, that's a ton of reviews, and that's a ton of sale.
And a ton of money to get them.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for being able to get rid of those. That's quite incredible. I still remember, I think I mentioned this in a previous episode of the rescue mission, the very first negative review I got. So our first product was a skipping rope, or a jump rope if you're in the States, called the Beast Rope. So the brand is Beast Gear. The first product was the Beast Rope. And the first ever negative review I found, I still remember it, and I was able to dig it up and show it in that other episode, was from somebody called Pam. And she said, not suitable for me, so I gave it to a friend. Right. Now, I am so sure that is against terms or the community terms, because it's not a review. The friend might have loved it. The friend might say it's the best product in the world. Yep. And yet she was able to give it a negative review. And that is, Amazon's a wonderful, wonderful thing. It has changed so many lives. It's changed my life.
Yep.
And it brings great products to a lot of people. But it also, I think, has a responsibility to look after the people who are selling on that platform and give them a fair shot.
I agree.
And I don't think there's necessarily a perfect way to do reviews, but that's part of it that needs fixing. The other thing that interests me, and I would love to hear your thoughts or your insights or what you know about how they're weighting reviews at the moment, because I hear different things about, if I get a review from 2016 removed, does it even make a difference? Because the algorithm doesn't even take it into account anymore, and it's only taking into account recent reviews. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Amazon specifically states that their review system is not mathematical. It's not a simple equation. So I'm making a few deductions here. Now, my wife and I both, we've been Google local guides for many, many years. There's 10 levels. It takes an extraordinary amount of work to get to level 10. We're both level 8. We have tens of millions of views on our stuff. That's not what's important. what's important is that I have seen along all the reviews, I've got hundreds of reviews I've done and thousands of photos and videos. What I see is Google provides you your own weighting system in terms of points for what you write, how well it's written, length of content. Does it have a video? Does it have a picture? How many reviews have you done in the past? Right? And so I firmly believe that Amazon has taken the same concept and applied it to their review system, because Google's review system predates Amazon's.
Interesting. So are you saying that if Amazon's system can see that, Bob regularly goes to the effort of writing a well thought out, in-depth and helpful review that's getting upvotes, his reviews in general will have a bit more clout, weighting, whatever, than reviews from somebody else who might leave one-word answers. Or really, fluffy reviews with not much substance.
Yes, I am totally saying that. Yeah.
That's
that
really
being said, when it comes to negative reviews, the weighting system, in my opinion, is so backwards that a single 1-star review can cancel out 10 or even more 5-star positive reviews. It's almost as if it should be backwards, in my opinion.
Yeah, it should be the other way around.
It should be the other way around, because everybody knows that happy people don't tell as many people as unhappy people, because unhappy people are there to make sure people know they're unhappy.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Happy people just get on with their lives. They're far too busy living their lives. I bought the product. It does what I wanted. Excellent.
Yeah.
They're far too busy living their life than to leave a great review. But unhappy people take to their keyboard, they get angry, and they write a negative review. You mentioned something there that made me think. You talk about some people leaving really in-depth, helpful, thought-out reviews. And I've seen some reviews on Amazon where the person's actually written a really thorough review talking about the product. But then what they've done in their review, which is interesting, is they've then compared it to another product and actually put a link to that other product in the review. And I actually found it very helpful because it allowed me to make a more informed decision. Is that allowed in the community terms? In fact, perhaps, I don't know, does Amazon even encourage that because you're helping the audience? What's going on there?
Yeah, so what you have to think with, and maybe I should make this available to your readers and listeners, but I've got a document where I've documented every single policy that I've been able to find when it comes to reviews.
Let's do it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll get that to you. So here's the overarching concept of reviews, is that the purpose of the review system is to help a prospective Amazon buyer make a buying decision. So that is the purpose of the reviews. Now, when it comes to what's written, how you write it, yes, there's a whole policy system on that. But strictly speaking, Amazon does not frown upon you recommending another product or even putting the product link in the review if it's done tastefully, right? Now, the best review manipulation scheme I've seen so far is somebody going and writing really big, well-written 5-star reviews and then having a paragraph on, but I like this product better. The Kingston La Flambe El Guapo poker stick, and this is a link to it, and this is why it's so great, and blah, blah, blah. And that's going to get clicks. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. What I've seen done is, and it's hard to tell sometimes whether it's genuine or not. What they do is they post a video review comparing two products to the, and when they're doing this maliciously, here's how they do it. So they post a review comparing two products. On the product which they are not favoring, they post it as a 4-star review. So it's not like the best, but it's not, the seller's not even going to notice it because they're not looking for 4-star reviews. And they're not saying it's a bad product, so it's very difficult to prove that there's anything naughty going on.
Yeah.
But then they're posting a link, and in the video they're saying, but actually this one's even better. So it's a very clever way to do it. I've seen that done.
Yeah.
Well, this has really, really been interesting. A lot of people, I think, watching this will really want to say, wow, I need to do this for my brand. How can people get in touch with you? How can you help them? What can you do for them?
Yeah. So EcomTriage is my company. So it's EcomTriage.com. My name is Danan Coleman. You can find me somewhere. I'm not really on the socials. I am on LinkedIn, but I'm absolutely terrible at going through and be like, yes, I accept your permission to connect. So it's actually best if you just go to the website, and
Yeah.
I offer a free audit to everyone. So you schedule a time to meet with me. You give me an ASIN, I'll run an audit on your entire catalog, and then we'll go through that. And then in that time, if it doesn't make sense for you to onboard and get reviews removed, which couldn't imagine why, but there are reasons, I will still try to find out how else I can help you. I am a consultant in the space, and I neglect to charge for it. It's more like, what do you need help with? Cool, let me introduce you to somebody. Because I've been a seller for 15 years, software space for 7, strategic partnerships for 5, and then my own company for 1.
Yeah. I think people would be insane not to get in touch. You've got so much to offer. So guys, go to EcomTriage.com. If Danan can help you, he will. You'd be insane not to take him up on a free audit. You can then literally see the reviews that potentially he can get removed for you. Hey, these are the ones that are against the terms, so we're going to go try and go after those. And if you can then bump your product rating up, even if you're just a few, because you never know what's quite going on in the back end, but if you're just a few points away in the back end from getting that, getting another half star filled, getting back from a 4.5 to a 5, or a 4 to a 4.5, or 3.5 to a 4, that has a real world impact on your business and ultimately the money in your pocket. So go to EcomTriage.com, get in touch with Danan. I'm sure he can help. Danan,
there's one more thing, Ben. So as we were going over this, I actually went to the product that we've removed reviews for on you. Now, just full disclosure, everyone, like, Ben hasn't paid me for the reviews being removed, and I haven't paid him to be here. So we just had a conversation. I said, let me show you what I can do. And then we removed 14 reviews. So Ben, I want to show you something just real quick.
Yeah, do it.
Since we started, we've seen, so your previous lowest BSR is 211,000. Since we've started and gotten those reviews removed, we're starting to see a downtrending in your BSR, and you've hit 175,000 as a low, which is, as we all know, that's the lower the BSR, the better. So you're starting to see a downtrending in your BSR. And so you will see improvement well before the star rating changes. I see this all the time. So I just want to point that out.
That's really interesting. And just since we're on, right? So at the time that we're recording this, people will have seen there what the product did. That's fine. Obviously, I advertise the brand in the brand rescue mission. That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
If you go look at the listing, you'll see that we're talking about Amazon.co.uk, by the way, folks. Yep. You'll see that our images are terrible. And you might wonder, why on earth has Ben still not changed the images when he's supposed to be trying to turn the brand around? That is, I'm still having a battle with Amazon. We do not have priority contribution rights to edit our own listings, despite us owning the brand, having all the trademarks and intellectual property. Those permissions are still sitting with an old account owned by the previous owner in the United States, and we're banging our heads against a brick wall to get Amazon to listen. So if anyone happens to know of a way to get them to listen, get in touch with me. But look, Danan, this has been awesome. I really, really, really appreciate what you've done. And I think that the audience will too. And I'm sure that they'll get in touch because they'd be insane not to. So go to EcomTriage.com. It's been so cool to have you on and part of the brand rescue mission journey. I'm sure that we'll be doing more cool stuff together in the future.
Yeah, love to.
Thanks. And guys, keep an eye on brandrescuemission.com. Keep following the journey, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everybody.
Cheers.